Hi folks, Pete here from Ashton's Cars. Today we're having a look at a 2006 Mark 5 Volkswagen Golf GTI. The GTI is a legendary car, but by the early 2000s the Mark 4 model, it had grown fat, flabby, and it was just more of a styling exercise than a proper hot hatchback. In fact, people who would have bought a GTI would instead, if they were staying loyal to Volkswagen's brand, buying the relatively hot turbo diesel models instead in GT TDI spec. And while they're good cars, they're not a GTI. This came along and this completely blew us away. This model had 200 horsepower, it was a turbocharged FSI engine, brilliant styling, really sharp, and all of a sudden you had a proper GTI again. So when the Mark 5 came out, for someone like myself who is a massive fan of Golf GTIs, it was a very special moment because the car, it just breathed new life into that badge. So things that you need to know about a Golf GTI are this particular Mark 5, it's in very good condition. It's a sought after 3-door model, and it's also sought after because it has the manual transmission, 6-speed manual. A lot of GTIs do have the DSG transmission. There's not anything massively wrong with that, but the purists will always prefer to have a manual change. DSG though was very much in vogue in the early 2000s, and a lot of the GTIs like this did end up with that DSG transmission in them. So it's nice to have a manual, it's nice to have a 3-door, because of course it is true to the original GTI recipe. Other things that are on that GTI recipe include the red pinstriping that has been a feature of GTIs since the Mark 1. That is something that is still continued on in the modern Golf GTI today, but something that I think was sort of overlooked and forgotten about on the Mark 4 for some reason. Another reason that I just didn't like that particular car, and that I fell in love with this Mark 5 when it came in. So our one has got the original wheels, but they have been refurbished. As you can see, they're in very good condition, and they've got red brake calipers just on the inside there. So very nice sort of finish to them. They give the car great presence on the road, I think, these wheels. They're nice chunky sort of 5-spoke design, which look the part, and the whole car as a whole just sits very nicely on them. As you can see, the car is very clean. There is a couple of very small marks on these wheels, but nothing too major. They are 18-inch rims, and you do end up with tiny little curb marks on them, unfortunately, and they have been refurbished previously by the previous owner. So I'll just come around the back of the car. Twin exhausts. As you can see, it's got GTI number plate holders on it as well, which look quite cool, I think. It was someone's pride and joy, this car, so it really has been looked after. And as you can see, looking down the sides of it, there's no real damage at all to the car. There are a couple of stone chips on the front end, but not that will show up on camera. But you would expect that on a 15-year-old car of any type. Let's just come back round here. Very, very pretty, I think, especially in 3-door form. There's a very small touch-in on the wheel arch. Where is it? By there. It's a stone chip that's been touched in on it. Little stone chip touched in there as well. So overall, you can see the paint finish is excellent on this car for the age of it, but there are a couple of stone chips, and you'd expect that with this age of vehicle. So we have got xenon lights on this particular model as well. It's cloth inside, and I prefer that because another thing that is a GTI trademark is this gorgeous tartan trim that they put on the seats. See, that is something again that harks all the way back to the Mark 1 GTI. So that's something that you know, that I'm quite keen on. They just don't look as good with the leather for some reason. So there's not many cars you can say that of, but you can of the Golf GTI. The interior of the car, apart from the seats, is Golf. If you've had a Golf, most people have, or certainly been in one, it'll feel instantly familiar. You've got nice simple dials and switches to do your air conditioning. The GTI instruments are sort of fairly deeply bezeled, very clear, very proud there. I've got a bulb out, I think, actually, and a service warning coming up, but we'll be giving the car a little service and doing that bulb before it goes out to a customer. Let me give it a very quick rev. I will point out the engine is warm already on this car, so I'm happy to rev it. It's very crisp and clean, and on the road there's plenty of power there throughout the rev range, loads of turbocharged torque. I mean, there's no mistake in this car's hot hatch credentials. I mean, it's you can never ever say that this is not the warm version of the Mark 5 Golfs. I mean, it'll blow the diesels out of the water, this one will. Obviously, yes, they do an R32. That is faster again, and that's a very different car because it's a four-wheel drive V6 monster of a thing, whereas the GTI is a purest sort of hot hatch. It sticks to the original formula of being front-wheel drive. It's a much sort of lighter feeling car on the road, very crisp handling, proper hot hatch, and the certainly the real deal in this sector. Very nice gear knob on this particular one as well. Only small things, but it's just got a very tactful feel. It just feels very nice in your hand. And of course the steering wheel itself has got the GTI emblazoned badge there, and it's a proper stitched leather wheel. It's got a nice sort of feel, nice chunky grips on it, which I love. So yeah, I love these cars, and if you're after a hot hatchback, you know, you can't go far wrong with a Golf GTI. They're the original. They're probably the best built as well of all the hot hatches. You know, you got that reassuring thud when you shut the door on these. And this particular one, as you can hopefully see, is very clean, very tidy. And apart from the odd stone chip, it's a superb example. I like the fact it's 3-door and it's manual. To me, that's what it's all about. But you have still got proper rear seats, and look at the size of the boot, it's huge. So it's a practical car that is a bit of fun as well, and that's what the original Golf GTI was all about. And for me, the Mark 5 was a car that brought Volkswagen back to that original ethos of a proper hot hatchback that was fun to drive but practical to use every day. So if you're looking for one, this one's available with us now, in very good condition, as you can see. I haven't told you the mileage, have I? I was getting too excited by the turbos whizzing and banging, but the mileage on this one is 129,000 miles. And that's not a huge amount to be concerned about on a Golf GTI. It's not, they're built to last, these cars are, and it's below average for the age of it as well. So I think you'd do well to find yourself a nice example like this, or better still, give me a ring and you can have this one parked on your drive, because my number is 07932 873 646. The Golf is available for national delivery. We can bring this anywhere in the UK for you. We can also take your old car in part exchange, and we're going to be supplying the car with a 3-month parts and labour guarantee. And while you're here now, please give us a like, share, subscribe to our channel, and feel free to leave a comment. Let us know your own Golf GTI experiences. And if you really want to inquire on this particular car, the best way to get hold of me is just to ring. Just call me on 07932 873 646. I don't log into YouTube every day, so you can comment, but I might not pick it up straight away. Give me a ring and I will pick up the phone to you. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Hope you enjoy the video. Goodbye.